Nigeria's new President Goodluck Jonathan is expected to nominate a new vice president this week. That deputy could quickly become the frontrunner for next year's presidential election and an informal power-sharing deal. VOA West Africa correspondent Scott Stearns reports from the Nigerian capital.
Nigerians are paying their respects to the family of President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua as the country continues a week of mourning for the late president who died Wednesday at the age of 58. The Yar'Adua family is receiving condolence visits in his hometown of Katsina. President Jonathan joined those offering prayers for his former boss. In a time of what he says is great adversity, Mr. Jonathan is calling on all Nigerians to aspire to uphold the values Mr. Yar'Adua represented, including a commitment to good governance, fighting corruption, and enacting electoral reform ahead of next year's nationwide vote. Mr. Jonathan must now nominate a vice president, and his choice of deputy may show his thinking about his own political future. Mr. Jonathan is from southern Nigeria and is expected to nominate a northern politician to maintain a regional balance of power. Because he's completing the first term of a northern president, an unofficial two-term rotation between the regions precludes him from running for president himself. But there's nothing in the Constitution stopping him, and he's not ruled out doing so. So if Mr. Jonathan chooses a strong vice president, he'll be seen as abiding by that arrangement, making his deputy the ruling party's frontrunner. But if Mr. Jonathan chooses a weaker vice president, many here will see that as evidence that he's considering his own run for the presidency. Much of that depends on coming electoral reforms meant to improve on the flawed 2007 vote. Some members of the ruling party want to make that process more transparent to minimize the political influence of powerful state governors. Many of President Yar'Adua's supporters favor electoral reform because he himself began the process after recognizing problems with his own election. But the ruling party has suspended members of the reform forum who are challenging the rules. Part of the proposed reforms would allow presidential candidates to run as independents. If passed, that would open the way for Mr. Jonathan to run on his own if the ruling party chooses a northern nominee. Scott Stearns, VOA News, Abuja.